Andrea Stella has issued a stark warning that McLaren could lose the trust of our drivers following the Singapore Grand Prix clash between Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. The team principal's candid admission reveals just how serious the internal crisis has become at McLaren after the controversial incident between their championship-fighting drivers. The McLaren boss didn't hold back when discussing the fallout from Singapore. His comments to the media showed a level of concern that many didn't expect from the usually composed Italian. The review needs to be very detailed, very analytical, and it needs to take into account the point of view of our two drivers, Stella explained. We will form a common opinion, and we will see whether it confirms our initial interpretation or if there is something else that we should compute. But it was Stella's next statement that truly highlighted the gravity of the situation. We need to be accurate because there is a lot at stake. He said, not only the championship points, but the trust of our drivers and the way we operate as a team. When you are racing as a team, you cannot have exactly the same interests for the two drivers because they want to pursue their aspiration. This level of honesty from a team principal is rare in Formula One. Stella is essentially acknowledging that McLaren's driver management has created a crisis that threatens the very foundation of their team relationships. The Singapore controversy began when Norris launched an aggressive first-lap attack that led to contact with both Max Verstappen and teammate Piastri. Although Norris managed to continue and secure third place, Piastri's reaction told the whole story. His radio message was loaded with frustration. That wasn't very team-like, but sure, the disappointment in his voice was unmistakable. What made matters worse was McLaren's handling of the situation. The team chose not to intervene, effectively endorsing Norris's aggressive move as fair racing. For Piastri, who has previously been asked to sacrifice for the team's benefit, this felt like a betrayal of the principles McLaren claims to uphold. His anger was evident throughout the remainder of the race, and his post-race interviews confirmed his dissatisfaction with the team's response. Stella acknowledged that McLaren's philosophy has contributed to these issues. We want to protect this let them race concept, and we know as soon as you adopt this concept, you face difficulties. He admitted, this confession shows that McLaren recognizes their current approach isn't sustainable, yet they're struggling to find an alternative that satisfies both drivers. The core issue is that McLaren has established policies and expectations that prove impossible to maintain consistently. Their famous papaya rules were meant to be straightforward. Avoid crashing into your teammate. However, rather than maintaining the simplicity, McLaren has overcomplicated things by intervening in situations and setting precedents they cannot uphold across all scenarios. This strategy has completely backfired on the team. Their attempts to micromanage every situation have actually worsened the problem. They've built a framework where both drivers anticipate team intervention whenever conflicts arise, but it's impossible for the team to make choices that please both drivers simultaneously. This has led to mounting frustration from both Norris and Piastri, who each believe they're receiving unfair treatment. The timing of this crisis couldn't be worse for McLaren. With the Drivers' Championship still undecided, Piastri holds a 22-point advantage over Norris. Verstappen remains mathematically capable of winning the title. If McLaren's internal conflicts continue, they risk handing the championship to Verstappen while their own drivers battle each other instead of focusing on the real competition. Stella's remarks indicate that McLaren is finally grasping the severity of their predicament. The team is beginning to understand that managing two title contenders presents challenges they hadn't fully anticipated. McLaren now faces the difficult task of repairing the damaged trust between the team and their drivers. Both Norris and Piastri are elite talents with alternatives available if they conclude that McLaren isn't the right environment for them. The team cannot risk losing either driver, particularly now that they possess a car capable of winning championships. The mental toll on both drivers is significant and cannot be overlooked. Since joining McLaren in 2023, Piastri has demonstrated unwavering commitment to the team. He has complied with team instructions when requested and consistently prioritized team interests. However, the Singapore incident has clearly strained that dedication. When a driver begins to question their team's support, it plants seeds of doubt that can impact on-track performance. While the team has already clinched the Constructors' Championship, their long-term success hinges on resolving this crisis. If they cannot restore trust with their drivers, all their technical progress could prove meaningless. But recognizing the problem and solving it represent entirely different challenges. The pressure is mounting on McLaren to act decisively. With 6 races remaining in the season and a drivers' championship hanging in the balance, time is running out to repair the fractured relationships. Every passing day without resolution makes the situation more difficult to salvage. Stella's public acknowledgement of the trust crisis should serve as a wake-up call for the entire McLaren organization, from senior management to the garage crew.